I'm here near the corner of South 6th and Grant Streets by the De Pere Community Center on De Pere's west side. Today, we're going to learn all about forestry in De Pere. Welcome to the Mayor's Corner. I'm Mayor James Boyd. In each episode of the Mayor's Corner, we plan to take you to explore a different part of De Pere as we discuss the latest happenings in the city. Plus, we'll take a behind-the-scenes look at various areas of city government. Most of all, we want to show all there is to celebrate about our city of De Pere. We're here in one of the urban orchards right off Grant and South 6th Streets. This area sees citizens of all ages for summer camps, fitness classes, arts and crafts, and various outdoor recreations at our community center and the VFW Aquatic Center. Today we're chatting with Don Melichar. Don is the forester for the City of De Pere Parks, Rec, and Forestry Department. Don has been with the city for many years and works hard to maintain every aspect of healthy trees in De Pere. Thanks for joining us, Don.
Glad to be here, James.
Wonderful. Don, can you give us a little bit of background in your role? How did you get into working in forestry? How did you get into your role for parks in De Pere?
Sure. Well, I'm the park superintendent and city forester. As part of my role, what I do is I obviously take care of the trees in both the parks and in the right-of-ways. We look for trees that are struggling. We'll take down trees that need to be taken down. We'll prune trees. We plant trees in the right-of-way. We also help out with the flowers. We help out with decorations throughout the city. So there's a lot of things that we do within the city. That's, again, part of my role. The other part of my role is the park superintendent. And, I manage and try to supervise all of our employees.
Great. Well, that said, how big is the forestry department and what's some of the stuff that they do?
Sure. Right now we have two gentlemen who pretty much do all of our work within the city forestry department. We have 5 other park maintenance personnel who also help out with that when possible. So that would be more in the winter. Again, what they do is they're pruning trees, removing trees, planting trees, working on flower beds to assist the beautification committee. We also do decorations throughout the city.
You work as forester. How do you work with other areas of the city of De Pere, and what kind of collaboration has to happen to keep our trees and all the parks healthy?
Sure. Well, we work with all departments within the city. We work with our street department, our engineering department, our water department, our GIS department, planning department. All of that goes into, there's just a lot of planning that's involved with the city street trees. If the street department has a concern in one area, we got to assist them. We also utilize their equipment. We utilize some of their personnel as well on occasion. The water department with all of their water facilities underneath. Engineering, we're in constant contact with our engineering department. Also our planning department, they are planning out different areas of the city, and we're working with them to make sure that we have trees in the right areas and not in the wrong areas.
That's great. What can a citizen do if they have concerns about a tree, either in their yard or in their neighborhood?
That's really a two-part question, I guess. In their yard, in their personal yard, that's certainly something that I can assist with. I've done that to many, residents here in the city. I can go out, I can help them out, take a look at something, see, kind of give them an idea what they have, where they have it, what's going on, and give them an opinion on what I see, and then they can follow up from there. If the tree is trees are in the terrace area, which is the area from the back of the curb to the back of the sidewalk, or where the sidewalk would be, then those are the city trees, and we would certainly take a look at those see what needs to be done. Many times it's either pruning or removal, and we would take a look at those.
Great. There are many diseases and pests that can harm our beautiful trees throughout the city. What can residents do to recognize these, and what can they do, and how can they contact you or get a hold of you?
Sure. Right now, the main concerns that we have, obviously, that I think that most people have heard about is emerald ash borer. That's a devastating insect that's affecting all of our ash trees. Now, mountain ash, because mountain ash is not a true ash. But it's devastating many of our ash trees, and really it's spread throughout the city of De Pere, and right now we're looking at probably removing close to 800 trees. Gypsy moth has also been a concern in the past. That affects mainly our oak trees, like we're standing in front of one right now. It's not as big of a pest right now. We went through a time when it was really significant, but since that time it's kind of died down a little bit due to weather, due to other pathogens that are affecting the caterpillars. So right now we're a little bit in a lull, although we can expect it to kind of move back and forth here and there. Japanese beetle is also out in full effect. There's many trees that are affected by it. There's many other plants, shrubs, things like that are affected by it, and they really eat the leaves. They skeletonize our leaves. But the biggest impact that they make is they chew on the roots of the plants. So, those three right now are our big main pests. Diseases, there certainly is always diseases, oak wilt, there's also, mildews, there's scabs, there's things like that. But really the insects are the big concerns for us.
So you as a forester has to be aware of all these pests and diseases and be up to date, so you can educate the community and take care of these issues.
Correct. Yeah. That's obviously that's one of our biggest things is trying to make sure that the community knows what we have out there. And emerald ash borer has been around since, well, we've known about it since 2004, and we've been trying to get the word out there just like a lot of other communities, but unfortunately it didn't stop it, and it's been here. So yeah, that's part of my main role is educating our citizens, and then I do that when I go out on site. If I meet with one of our residents at their home property or even in the street, it's good just to point out little things and kind of make them more aware of what's happening.
Absolutely. Well, how about something more pleasant? How does a resident go about adding trees to their yard?
Well, we have both the spring and fall planting season, and this is again for the terrace area. That's the city right-of-way area. That you can contact the city. We have order forms at that time. In spring, it goes from the end of February through the end of March. And we usually have 6 to 8 different trees that are available. And then in the fall, we have planting season or ordering season from the end of August through the end of September, and then we plant usually in mid to late October. So if you have enough space, we can certainly look into that. The resident does have to pay for those trees, but the city does take care of pretty much everything with them on maintenance. If you're looking to put one in your own lawn, which is behind the sidewalk, we can certainly help out with that. Maybe kind of identifying, maybe where you want to plant a tree, or even kind of what kind of trees, although there's plenty of them.
That's great. That's good news, and I'm glad the residents hear that right now, and we're educating residents on that. The city of De Pere has won numerous awards for its trees. Could you explain the Tree City USA designation?
Sure. Tree City USA, that's part of a national designation that if you meet 4 criteria within your city, then you qualify for it. There's also tree growth awards that can be done for above and beyond those standards. And really those standards come down to having a tree board or tree department. It has a forestry department. There's also, you have to spend a certain amount within the city budget on your forestry department, and then you have to hold an Arbor Day observance. And pretty much every year we've been holding Arbor Day observances with our schools. The past 2-3 years, unfortunately, we haven't because of the pandemic. But other than that, we've been doing that for many years now. So it's a prestigious award that many communities have. and it really does identify communities that are doing a good job and have a good forestry department.
Well, that's great. A resident can honor their loved one with a memorial tree or a bench. How does this program work?
What we do is we identify what park that they'd like to look at. If someone comes to me, they say, I'd love to have a tree, I'd love to have a bench within the park. Like I said, we try to identify which park they'd like to be at. We try to find a spot that fits to what they're thinking. In terms of the bench or the tree, we try to identify what kind of tree they might like. And then what we do is we go through that whole process, pick it all out, and then we would invoice the individual. But certainly we are looking for many of our parks to try to enhance them with this memorial bench or a memorial tree. We don't supply the plaques for our bench, one of our benches, or for the trees, but we do mount those either on the bench or on some concrete and put it near the tree. So yeah, if anybody's looking to try to get a memorial for a loved one, for someone that that they miss, we're certainly there to help.
What a great program to show your respect to a loved one. So it's great the city does this.
Correct. Yeah, we're happy to do that.
Great. We're standing in front of one of the many urban orchards we have throughout the city. Right. Can you explain a little bit about the urban orchards and the background of how that came to be?
Sure. The urban orchards, we have a number of them around the city. We also planted 3 within the school districts. We have one over at Westwood, we have one at the high school, De Pere High School, and we have one over at Foxview. We have those. We also have orchards at Voyager, we have at Samantha, we have it here, and we have it at Brazier Park. These started in 2016. We had an initiative from the city staff, city administrator, who thought that it would be a great idea to really get these out in the public and allow the public to benefit from the fruit that we obtain from these trees. So we certainly encourage people to come out when the fruit is ripened. We encourage them to come out and pick a pear, pick an apple, pick a plum. The school districts, the original objective was for them to actually utilize some of the fruit for their programs at school. So, we're hopeful that they're doing that. I know that sometimes it gets difficult, but, definitely try to indulge in it. Take one out. I had a pear last week and it was very good.
Well, that's great. I'm going to sample one of those. A few of our urban orchards are at area schools. Let's take a look at the Foxview Intermediate School Eco Club assisting with planting its orchard back in 2019. Don, thank you for managing so much of the city and for maintaining a healthy, natural source of food that benefits so many. That's very cool to see. Thank you for being here with me today, Don. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it.
And now to a few city updates. The city is actively searching for a new police chief. Chief Biderweeden is set to retire in December after almost 20 years as the De Pere police chief. We know it is important that the community be actively involved with the recruitment process, so community members had access to a survey with feedback about the selection of our next chief. We are grateful to say our community made 183 submissions. Thank you to all who submitted the feedback. We look forward to this next chapter for the De Pere Police Department. The City of De Pere is currently working on a parking study to examine current conditions, needs, and potential improvements to parking on the east and west sides of downtown. The goal of the study is to develop tangible strategies to improve access and parking and leverage parking as an asset to the city's economic development and, of course, quality of life for residents. Please be on the lookout on our social media for opportunities to give feedback about downtown parking needs. Finally, another downtown project is underway with the Cobblestone Hotel. The new urban hotel and restaurant at the corner of 5th Street and Main Avenue is set to open in 2022. Plans include a patio for outdoor dining with various engineered wood and stone materials to make up the urban facade. This is just one of the many ways we hope to improve downtown De Pere for those who live, work, and play in this beautiful city. That's it for this episode of the Mayor's Corner. We'll see you again soon with another behind-the-scenes look at the City of De Pere and what it has to offer. I'm Mayor James Boyd.